I'll be voting for it. And look, we need to end the chaos here that once again the Democrats have inflicted on the country. ICE has been funded since 2029. This was much to do about nothing. This was typical Democrat pandering to the ultra-left because they're afraid of losing a primary to the ultra-left.
Any chance that the vote today goes into tomorrow for DHS?
You know, there could be. I don't know if it will or not. I can't wait to vote and get the government fully operational.
That was Florida Congressman Mike Herodopoulos telling me earlier on the program he will vote in favor of the Senate-passed DHS funding deal. The Senate overnight approving that bill to fund most of the department, including TSA, after weeks of chaos and delays at the airports. The agreement excludes money for ICE enforcement, removal operations, and parts of Customs and Border Protection. It doesn't include any immigration reform that Democrats had originally wanted. That was really coming from Chuck Schumer. Now, the bill now heads to the House, which begins a series of votes at 10 a.m. Eastern time this morning before they leave for the 2-week Easter recess. I want to bring in New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman, great to have you here. And I know you heard your colleague, Mr. Herodopoulos, but Jake Sherman from Punchbowl News is pointing out something I want to ask you about here. He says that the House might have big problems moving DHS through today because in the House rules for the 119th Congress, you can't move bills under suspension of the rules on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What do you make of that?
Yeah, we're going to have it. Yeah, this is obviously we're going to, if we can't get this done through a rule bill with our very slim majority, we're going to have to wait and do it on suspension on Monday. I'm just hoping we can get everyone together. I'm sure President Trump will be making some phone calls to make sure we can get this done with a rule. But this has to be done. I mean, what we've done for 40 days has been just unconscionable to the American people. And I've heard from all kinds of people across the country who have been waiting in lines, missed their flights. I've heard the tragedy of TSA agents not getting paid. And, you know, this is a huge problem. And I want to just make it clear, most members of Congress that I know, including me, I wait in line. I've not jumped to the front of the line. Luckily, the airports I have been going through have not been really a bit too problematic. But this is still unacceptable. And we're operating like a third world country because the Democrats, as my colleague Mike Herodopoulos just said, want to make sure that we can get illegal immigrants into this country and get them voting because it's the only way Democrats can win because they don't have the policies that the American people like. And we do, and they can only win on process and undermining our election integrity.
Well, certainly, today is going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. We're going to be watching where this goes because of the chaos at the airports I mentioned earlier. But you do have momentum building among congressional Republicans to use budget reconciliation for new immigration enforcement funding. And this would be for ICE and CBP. Now, Senate Majority Leader Thune said it's a good possibility as the Senate Budget Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham is urging his committee to start that process. It would also fund the Pentagon's $200 billion supplemental request for Iran, plus parts of the Save America Act. Congresswoman, what do you think of this strategy? And is it a winning strategy?
Well, of course. I mean, we have an opportunity to do another reconciliation, and we would like to get what we can done because we know and we've seen now twice 2 government shutdowns caused by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats because they're pandering again to the far left and don't want to make sure we get things done in government. Reconciliation is their only option to avoid that 60-vote threshold in the Senate. And we do have a lot of unfinished business, things that you just cited that we'd love to get done, you know, bills that we couldn't get into, the one big beautiful bill, the working families tax cut, that are doing amazingly well in our communities, especially communities like mine, which are driven by small businesses. So we're seeing that happen. Just think if we hadn't passed the bill and we weren't taking advantage of our wonderful gifts of natural gas and oil exploration that President Trump has opened up again after 4 years of shutdown by the Biden administration, where we would be today. We would be in a worse situation. But now we're looking at, you know, growth in the economy and prosperity. The question again comes down to, can we get we only have a 2-seat majority in the House. Can we get that over the line with a lot of the different priorities that members have? Chairman Jason Smith on the Ways and Means Committee obviously would be driving this process. I'm on the Ways and Means Committee. A lot of members will have a lot of requests and a lot of things they'd like to see get done. I think we'll see where it goes. I mean, we have a lot of issues. We'll be meeting on Ways and Means this morning early to talk about what we could do in a reconciliation process and go through this once again as we did last year.
Yeah, well, I do want to say that Chairman Smith is going to be joining the program in the next hour, so we're going to pick up on all of that with him. And obviously, I think one of the questions is going to be, you've got somebody like Tim Burchett who says that he will not support anything. I don't know where he stands this morning, but he says he's not going to support any funding of DHS without immigration enforcement funding. So we shall see. There's a lot that's going to happen today. I do want to ask you about the story coming out of New York. It's tragic. You had this 83-year-old Air Force veteran, Richard Williams. He was shoved onto the subway earlier this month, onto the tracks. He has now died. The suspect is 34-year-old Baron Hernandez, an illegal Honduran national with a lengthy rap sheet. He's facing second-degree murder charges. So Fox News asked Mayor Mondami's office whether he would be turned over to ICE. They deflected to us. They referred us to the Department of Corrections. And a DOC spokesperson says it processes detainers consistent with local law. So that limits what can be done with another illegal immigrant who is now responsible, allegedly, for the murder of an 83-year-old veteran congresswoman in the city of New York. Another shove onto the subway tracks.
Yeah, I mean, totally tragic. And I think this man recovered from cancer as well. So it's even, to recover from cancer, to be a veteran and then get killed by an illegal immigrant in your home country, it's just totally unacceptable. And this is going to continue to happen. There is an idea out there that I've actually floated around with some leadership yesterday on the House. Why don't we make crossing the border and actually staying here illegally an actual crime that we can use warrants and we can actually give ICE and the ability of Homeland Security to go into the prisons and get warrants to remove dangerous illegal criminals from our prisons. The local governments are making that difficult. Governors like Kathy Hochul are siding with the sanctuary cities. And also Letitia James, our Attorney General, who is an absolutely, just undermining our law everywhere and attacking local governments all across the state who do have illegal immigrants that have committed dangerous crimes and preventing us from working with ICE and the local governments from working with ICE. She's actually targeting them for keeping their communities safe. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of governance that you see in a state like New York that has completely undermined our rule of law, made our state unsafe, has caused us to have over 2 million in outmigration since 2010. People are leaving the state in droves, not to mention the fact that Governor Cuomo and Governor Hochul have told people who believe in common sense to leave the state. Oh, and guess what? People who are wealthy and even not so wealthy have brought their wealth, whether it's $20,000 or millions, out of the state. And now she's saying, please come back and fund our social welfare programs. And by the way, we're going to continue to fund illegal immigrants, giving them, housing, food, and everything that we don't give to our veterans. How tragic that this veteran who survived cancer, who served our country, had to die at the hands of an illegal immigrant who shouldn't have been here in the first place.
They're blaming the lower tourism numbers in the city on ICE, and the blame actually goes to tourists coming to this country and not feeling safe on the streets of New York. That's the truth.
Law and order is what makes our communities able to prosper.
I know. I agree with you, Congresswoman. Before you go, another thing that you're calling for is for the IRS to investigate a lot of these nonprofits in New York, hundreds of them that may have engaged in illegal partisan political activity. Tell us about this.
Yeah, look, how can we have different kinds of groups that actually get protection under the IRS? They get this 501c3 status, which allows them to collect money. They pay. In many cases, they're not legitimate. We've learned that. They pay out their huge salaries to their employees that really accomplish nothing other than get this 501c3 status. And it was disclosed actually by, truthfully, a Democrat in the state legislature who said, wow, these people are actually funding political campaigns, which is a direct violation. I've referred this to the IRS. They should lose their not-for-profit status because they're engaging in politics. And by the way, they gave to both Republicans and Democrats. Should not be happening. And so we'll see where the IRS takes this. But any not-for-profit that's seeking the cover of our IRS protections, saying that they're going to be benefiting, a true charity, should not be getting the benefits of the IRS.
There's a lot of wasted fraud and abuse in the state, Congresswoman. You've got a lot on your docket today, and in particular, Congresswoman Tenney. Thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Cheryl.
All right.